What's it all about? Why are we here? Is there a God? What happens when we die? In this series, I'm talking to public figures about these questions. Like me, none of them claims to be a religious expert, but all of them have, at times, had cause to think about the meaning of life. Welcome once again, and welcome to Ronan Keating, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, good to see you.
Let's start with Denmark and the Eurovision entry. How did that come about?
It was a bit of a mad one, really. I have a studio at the back of the house here. People come over and we write all the time. And a couple of lads came over from Denmark, songwriters, and they have a very good track record. So I wrote a few songs with them, didn't think too much about it. I get a call about 2 months ago to say, you know, everyone likes this song over here. Is it okay if we put it forward for the Eurovision? And I went, well, yeah, sure. I didn't think much of it. And then it wins. The Danish entry is my song. So I might go to Moscow. We'll see what happens if it makes the final. It's great fun, and it's an honour to be involved and to get the opportunity, but, you know, take it with a pinch of salt.
Going back to the start of your musical career in Boys O and a celebrated appearance on Late Late Show and all of that sort of thing. Going back a bit, you were 15 or thereabouts. Is that what you always wanted to do?
Always. It's all I've ever wanted to do. I got a part-time job in a shoe shop, and my manager in there knew that, saw the advert in the paper, and he was the one to say to me, you know this is on around the corner, this Irish answer to take that, this, you know, audition tonight. So, you know, people knew that's what I wanted to do.
And was it that you wanted to be famous, or was it the making of the music?
Oh, no, you see, that's the thing. Today, everybody wants to be famous. You know, all the kids, they want to be famous. You know, for me, it was be on stage, to be singing, to be performing, to work with these world-famous producers and songwriters, and, you know, to get the chance to sing with these people and work with bands and, you know, all of that. You know, back then, I think there was always a mystery about bands and about artists, and that's what made us fans. You know, now we know too much about everybody and everything because of the internet and media and, you know, reality TV. So a lot of that mystery is gone. So that's why people are famous for 15 minutes, and it all just becomes disposable, and, you know, someone else replaces them pretty quickly. For me, I wanted to be in the industry because I wanted to be a singer.
Go back now to your mum and dad and growing up, and what sort of a background did you have, and was it a religious background or whatever?
Yeah, my mum was a devout Catholic. I mean, she went to Mass nearly every day, prayed every day. You know, we did all the things every Catholic family does. We dressed up and went to Mass every Sunday. We got our throats blessed, and we got Ash Wednesday. And yeah, so I mean, I had a great childhood. You know, good Catholic Irish family, I guess.
Your mother would have been devoted to God and Padre Pio and St. Anthony. Yeah. What about the Blessed Virgin? She would have had to be...
Yeah, Blessed Virgin. I mean, we went down to Knock a lot. We'd have regular excursions down to Knock, once a year at least. We'd pile into the Fiesta Escort, Gold Escort. I sat across the back window a few times because there's so many kids.
Down to Knock?
Down to Knock. Do the couple hours, do the Stations of the Cross, and... go to where the Blessed Virgin supposedly appeared, and then head home. And
at what stage would you have said that you might have got doubts about things?
I mean, as I got a bit older and I joined the band, I started to travel. Travel is an amazing thing, and when you start to meet people, you know, you witness other cultures, and you think, you know, they don't believe anything I believe in, but yet they're totally sane and normal people, and you know, hang on a second here, you know, we've been taught one thing, and, you know, who's to say who's right and who's wrong, right? So that's really when I started to think about it all. Now I'm a Catholic, I'm a believer, and, you know, I'm not saying I've you know, turned away from it, but this made me think about it as I travelled. So yeah, I guess, and then when Mum died, that was it. I had a real issue then. I had a real problem, because this was a woman who devoted her life to God. You know, and, you know, she was 51 years of age. I mean, she was a young woman when she died. That's not very fair. I went, I guess, to a dark place for a while, and I neglected God, and I stopped praying, and I stopped, you know, speaking to him. But as time went on, I realised that this is exactly what my mother wouldn't want, and that's not the right reason to go back, I know that, but this is, you know, these are the challenges that were set, and, you know, this is, you know, why God went into the desert for 40 days and for 40 nights, and, you know, the devil came and tempted him and so on. So there's lots of different issues all the time I was battling with, and then I started drinking, and that you don't see clearly, you don't think clearly.
Go back to touring with the
Yeah.
boys and so on. You were all in the same boat. You were all,
all of us,
Catholic
yeah.
fellas, and
Yeah,
you
all
brought
the
up
same,
the
yeah.
same way, and all of that, all the same background. Was there any kind of spiritual life or insistence on the part of anybody to going to mass during wherever you were in the world?
No.
Was there anybody there saying, well, it's Sunday, we better go? No.
I wish there was. I wish there was. No, Sunday mornings were in a great TV studio or recovering from a hangover at the party.
Yes.
No, it was such an incredible time on the road, but the workload was massive, and we didn't have time for anything. And even if you turn around at 17 years of age and you're in the industry and you turn around and say, I want an hour off on a Sunday morning to go for mass, they tell you where to go, the record company and everyone else. That's the way.
Serious?
Absolutely. There was no, you don't have a voice. You're put into a band, a pop band, a boy band. You're not allowed, stand up and speak. Otherwise, you're a rude little git or whatever. You're getting too big for your boots. But at the same time, I prayed every day. I never stopped praying. Every night I lay in bed and I say my prayers before I went to sleep. That's just, and I still today.
But what about booze, drugs, and sex and?
Yeah, we did.
rock
There
and roll?
wasn't drugs. There was definitely booze. All the time. But that was I guess that was our release. That was the way every evening we'd finish work, whatever time, and you'd have a few drinks in the bar.
And none of you were pioneers, non-drinkers?
No. My pledge lasted about, I don't know, a couple of weeks, I think. It was terrible. No, a little longer than that. But
Go back to touring, suddenly from being nobody and with ambitions, you were all catapulted into fame
Yes.
and recognition and being idolized and all of that. Now, cutting out this terrible hard work where you didn't even have a Sunday morning off, how did you cope with that?
Well, it's funny actually. I tell a funny story that after being on the Late Show, that amazing night with yourself, we made ages of ourselves. I went.
I think your admission that you weren't a dancer is putting it mildly.
Mildly. It looks like the corner of a nightclub. A bunch of lunatics in the corner of a nightclub on a Saturday night. But I was working in Corky's shoe shop at the time, and the next morning, Saturday morning, I walked down Henry Street thinking I was the bee's knees. Did you see me last night? Hey, did you see me last night? Hey, I thought I'd made it. Little did we know we had a long way to go. A very long way to go.
How did you cope with that fame, that recognition?
Yeah, I was fine. I mean, we luckily, we were all 5 Northsiders. We all had our feet firmly on the ground. Never once did we let anyone kind of lose the run of themselves. And then when we came home, our families wouldn't allow us to, lose the run of ourselves in any way, especially my mother. I remember calling Louis Walsh once and saying, who does your man think he is? Speaking about me, who does he think it is? Too big for his boots now. That was the grounding we needed. And that's why I think we're about today and we get this second chance.
So vaguely during all the time of the fame and the start and making your way as a group and all of that sort of thing, you did stay in touch with the church and faith and God.
Always.
Because Mum was there.
Yeah, well, Mum kept me. Every time, I'd be home, my bag would be full of miraculous medals and I'd be holy water thrown at me as I'm walking out the door, constantly. I mean, and when you buy a new car, Mum would come out and bless the car and leave the bottle of holy water in it, and, we always had our, bits and pieces.
When did you get the first inkling that your mum was sick?
I guess it was 96. It was about 1996. She had an issue that she wouldn't speak to me about. Mum was old school, old generation. For one, would never go to a doctor to get her breast checked. Then women didn't. Cancer was the big taboo. So she knew there was an issue. She found a lump and we found out it was malignant.
So she had the operation?
She had the operation. And 18 months later, she had the all clear. And it was a celebration in the family. I remember it well. Mum had gone through so much. She lost her hair. She was a hairdresser herself, so that was a big deal for her, losing her hair. But then she embraced it. She went off and bought wigs and enjoyed that, enjoyed the whole part of that. We then found out that it had moved on to the spine. So that was in late November, early December, and then she passed away early February the following year, so it was very, very quick.
During all that time, did you pray?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot?
Yeah, because she did. I mean, she went to Mass every single day, And I prayed for her and she prayed and we all prayed.
And Ronan,